Well, good morning. Happy Thursday. It's Leza Live on the news. 103.5 FM, KYCA. I've been waiting for Thursday since Monday. What is wrong with me? I don't know. I really like Thursday. I like waking up in the morning, realizing it's actually finally Thursday. Heading right into Friday.
What a great line. Good morning.
Well, anyhow, I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's just so gorgeous outside, and just be grateful for the little things, and that makes it a big thing, I think.
Absolutely.
Yes. How you doing there, Drew?
I'm doing great, and like you said, it is an absolute gorgeous day, and we're on track to set a record. We tied one yesterday.
We did.
81.
Holy smokes!
And that goes back to 1989.
Okay.
And today we're slated for 84, and the record in 1989 was 83.
84. That's getting
wonderful.
Up there. That's getting up there. What did I say yesterday? The high 80s. Just getting too warm too fast. But I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to enjoy it.
I would agree with you. 85 is about as high as I'd like to get.
Right.
But, we'll have that, and it'll be that pretty much through the weekend, and then next week.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
There'll be a high-pressure system coming north of us, and that'll cool us down a little bit and give us some winds, according to Mr. Cada.
Okay. Well, we'll take it.
Looking forward to a record.
Well, you know what? My entire family that lives in the valley is looking forward to 102 today. This is when they start looking at their calendars and saying, when can we come up?
And that's why we live here.
That's exactly right. Good morning, Matt Hinshaw.
I'm waiting for more snow. I thought he was going to say we were going to get more snow.
There's always a chance. There's always a chance before Mother's Day.
Because, anything.
You never know.
Right. I remember when we moved into our new house, and it was Easter morning, and we had like 2 feet of snow on Easter morning. It was really fabulous. So you just never know. Yeah, you don't plant those plants, the delicate ones, until after Mother's Day. You know that rule, right?
I don't plant anything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I do, it's usually inside in a closet with controlled lighting.
Yeah, I got it. Do we have a phone call? Oh, fantastic. Jim
Already.
Lamerson is on the line.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was watching Gizmo and Sunny this morning, and I didn't realize until I started reading some of the history on it, I didn't realize that they hatched different days, 4 days apart.
Wow. And so one's bigger than the other because of that.
It could be.
Yeah.
But it could be because one's a boy and one's a girl.
Okay, that could be it too.
That could be. But anyway, I guess Gizmo's causing some troubles. He's not being a good little bird.
Uh-oh. Is Gizmo the big one or the little one?
The little one.
Oh, what's his problem?
Oh, he's just kind of, when you watch him, he's just kind of a little more aggressive.
Uh-huh. He's probably the boy.
So I don't know. I've known some aggressive women in my time.
Well, sure, but you know those little boys.
Yeah, I know.
The little kids.
Little boys are little boys. But anyway, yeah. I thought I'd just give you a call and say, you know what? I learned this morning for the first time reading about these guys a little more.
Yeah.
I didn't know they hatched on different days. I thought they both hatched at the same time. And
Okay.
They didn't.
I didn't know it was 4 days apart either. That's very interesting. And if you look at them, you can see they're starting to get feathers.
Uh-huh.
And we learned yesterday that they're about 5 to 7 pounds.
Oh, wow.
That's a big bird.
Yeah.
And you know what else I learned is that when they're full grown, they'll be as big as their parents, but they will not get their white head until they're 4 years old.
Well, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I just read it yesterday. So
Wow.
We're learning so much about.
Yeah, just think how many people are getting to hear an educational opportunity on our national bird.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Well, you have a good day, Lisa, and we'll
Thank
talk to you
you, Jim, with our Eagle update on
Bye-bye.
Leza Live. Bye-bye. Oh, we need John Rust, too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got some big breaking news.
I got to go signal.
Can you just wave
signal
through the...
Johnny Rust. No, I got it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, John Rust needs to come in. He's got some...
Here he comes.
He heard his name. It's like he was at the
name.
door. Yes, fantastic. Sit down, John. We have some exciting news to share. Do you want the breaking news sounder?
Yes, give me the breaking news sounder. Okay, well, here on KYCA on our sports reports on your show, we've been following the progress of Becky Burke, head coach at the University at Buffalo women's basketball team, who also was the very first coach for the Embry-Riddle women's basketball team. Buffalo, they won the WNIT in a very close game with Troy, Well, I have sad news. Becky Burke is no longer the coach at University at Buffalo.
She's no longer a Buffalo Bull.
No. But here comes the good news. Becky Burke is returning to Arizona as the new head coach of the U of A.
The Wildcats. This is huge news. Look at her soar.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. The Wildcats were like, we got to have her.
Yeah. Well, Adia Barnes, she left after a few. Actually, she was there for quite a while, I believe, and she left to go to Southern Methodist. And U of A kind of stumbled there the last bit of the season. What they lost in the opening round of the Big 12 tournament, they go to the WBIT. And they lose to NAU. So now it's Becky's turn to come in there and see if she can turn around that program like she turned around Buffalo, like she turned around Charleston, and, of course, had a great start to the first 2 years of Embry-Riddle women's basketball. So, like I said, Becky Burke, the new head coach for the U of A women's basketball team.
That is wonderful. We will keep our eyes on her, and we will love to hear any updates that you have about her throughout the year.
Darn right. You bet I will. Congratulations, Becky. Best of luck.
That's great. Thank you, John Rust.
You're welcome.
Sports director at KYCA for 27 years? Give or take. Fantastic. Well, that is great news. All right, so today I want to share with you is National Siblings Day. I don't know if we know about your siblings, Drew.
I have an older sister.
Okay.
Who lives in Casa Grande.
Okay.
And she's retired with my brother-in-law, Phil. They've been married forever. And, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So you're the baby.
Yeah.
You have one big sister, and you are the baby.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My big sister, all 4'10" of her.
Yeah. Your older sister. Yeah, right. And then you've got two sisters, and you're the middle child.
Yep.
Yes.
I have the middle child and older child complex.
Uh-huh. So. Why? Oh, because you're the only boy.
No, well, that's one. But no, my older sister's 9 years older than me.
Okay.
So she flew the nest since we're doing Eagle themes.
Yeah.
Fledged. Pretty quickly. Whatever.
You do that to me all the time.
Fledged the nest? I thought it was flew the nest.
No, fledged, right, Drew?
I'm not getting in the middle of
Drugel's not getting in the middle of it. I like it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm glad you're interrupting me now. I like it. Makes me feel better about myself.
Makes me feel better when I can do that.
Anyways, so yes. So when she left, then I became the older sibling.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you want to stay the middle child because a new study found that middle kids truly are different, and in a good way. Middle kids tend to be more cooperative and honest. And so I'm sort of a middle child. There's 4 of us. My sister Gabrielle and I are both middle children. But I am the oldest female. There's got to be something there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But they say, this is interesting, 33% of people with siblings think their mom has a favorite child. I totally knew my mom had a favorite child. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I know my mom and dad's favorite child.
Yeah.
My dad is my younger sister.
Right.
She's the baby. They're both identical. They love each other.
Yeah.
And then clearly she comes on the show every Friday. It's Ma Hinshaw all day.
Right.
I am her favorite. By far. You can tell.
are her favorite. Lucky you.
Yeah.
What about you, Drew? Who is your mom's favorite?
Oh, you need to ask.
Your sister?
My sister.
Your sister.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And my dad, my sister was the princess.
So you got kicked to the wayside.
Oh yeah, as my parents said, if they would have had me first, I would have been an only child. So
that's so funny. Well, it's kind of interesting because my parents had a favorite child, and it was the same child, my older brother Bill.
Well, that's sad.
I know. I know, both parents, I swear. My dad would deny it all the way. I had this hair that's driving me nuts. My dad would deny it, but my mom made it very clear. But anyway.
I was trying to get
Anyhow.
scissors. I was looking for scissors. I don't have scissors. I'm sorry.
Oh, for the hair?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I'll just keep licking it to the side. Oh. Yeah, whatever works, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow.
But I'm sure Ma Hinshaw will call in tomorrow and be like, no, I don't have a favorite child because she doesn't want to burn bridges.
Well, no, they never.
Yeah, she is. She's going to call in and say Barry.
Well, that's true.
Barry. Well, that's the truth. It's actually
true.
Barry.
The kid she didn't raise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 19% of us think we are completely different from our siblings. Yeah, Drew says yes. You say yes too?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
both my sisters are nuts.
I would say I have some that I'm similar with, and some that I'm not. 10% would describe a sibling as a best friend.
Wow.
Would you?
No.
No. What about you? No. I definitely do. I'm very close with all of my siblings.
The sheer amount I got beat up by both my sisters.
Well, there was that.
No.
You
No.
deserved it, though.
Maybe.
Made you
see,
tough.
I was one of those that did the beating because me and my older brother Bill, we'd beat up on our youngest brother Bob, and it explains a lot today. But sorry, Bob.
No, she's not. She enjoyed it when
We
she
left
was a
our
kid.
sister alone because she was kind of like the one that would always tattle and tell and run to mom. But little Bob took it like a champ, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, I always wanted a brother, but then I look back and I'm like, if I had a brother, I don't know if I would have made it through childhood because both my sisters nearly killed me multiple times.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I had a brother, it would have been really bad.
So you had physical fights with your sisters?
Oh, all the time.
What about you, Drew?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh.
You were
Touch the
scared.
princess and die.
You were scared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Touch the princess and die.
Oh my gosh, we would brawl. We would just brawl. My sister would not. She's the smart one, right? She'd sit back and watch us, and the other three of us, we had this little tin can rabbit truck that my parents put a shell on, and then they were in the cab, and it's just tiny, right? But they'd shut the window, and then they'd put us in the back with just like blankets. We were like animals, and we'd beat each other up back there, and they'd just shut the glass and not pay any attention to us.
Smart.
And then we'd
Good.
yell. Then we'd yell at them, "Turn the radio up!"
So, for some reason, when I was
Sorry.
growing up as a child, my head got cracked open all the time,
Oh, really?
and freaked my mom out a lot because I had skull surgery when I was 18 months old.
Right.
And so there was always something, and it was always my younger sister or my older sister.
how
It
would
was
they-
like 3 or 4 times.
How would they crack your head open?
We'd be fighting over something, and she would let go, and I'd slam into a wall, or I'd
Oh.
slam into something hard.
That
and
makes sense.
Right on the back of my head.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm
gosh.
lucky I can walk.
Yeah, right. Well, you do kind of have a big noggin, so.
Wow.
What?
It's full of air. Maybe that's
I
why
think
I
it's 'cause-
survived.
I think it's because you're so smart. You've got lots of
See,
brains in
now
there.
she's backpedaling, Drew. Do you hear this?
I hear it. I hear beep, beep, beep.
All right. So National Sibling Day. Give them a call today. Give your sister a call. Send your sister some flowers. Both of them. That'd be nice. You're like, not happening.
Nope.
It's Global Work from Home Day, International Safety Pin Day. Where would we be if we didn't have the safety pin?
They probably would have developed
Something better. Something better.
Yeah. Disposable diapers a lot faster, maybe.
Yeah, Velcroed diapers, sure, possibly. Yeah, yeah. Tape.
'Cause really, the plastics didn't come in effect until really the late 50s, early 60s.
Right.
so
The safety pin
it
was
was around forever.
1849. It was invented. Yeah, yeah.
Whole 100 years.
Yeah, and it was patented 176 years ago today. Today's the day.
Wonderful.
It's National Cinnamon Croissant Day. It says crescent, but what's a crescent? The
A
little
crescent
rolls?
roll versus a croissant. Flaky dough versus.
I think it's the
regular
one
dough.
that you get, the one you get in the can.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then it's opening round of the Masters Golf Tournament. Who's going to win? Let's make a bet. I'm going for Scheffler for number 3. Third time's a charm. Nobody.
The best golfer. I don't know. I don't watch golf.
Nobody? Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm on an island all by myself today. But I like it that way. All right. Let's go ahead and move forward.
I don't know. Drew, are you the golfer?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
I mean, it's not me. I know Leza's the golfer.
Well, I love golf.
It's a very, very difficult game. It takes a lot of time. It's just too slow for me. I can't. I get bored.
Well, you're not thinking about it enough. It's not boring whatsoever when you're trying to figure out that next shot. I love it. All right,
And
let's
actually,
move
I'm
forward.
a fairly decent golfer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit it. We'll have a golf foursome. You, me, Drew, and Scott Dandos.
I'll drive.
Well, there's 2 drivers.
Okay.
And
then.
everybody drives on the golf course. Drives. Get it?
There's a dad joke.
I have to move on. We have a very important guest this morning. Scott Freitag is coming in to chat with us about all the things he's up to these days, and also how it all went down for him and his perspective, and let him tell his side of the story, which I want to hear.
Finally.
Yeah.
He's such a busy man. We've been trying to get him on for a while, right?
Yes, very, very busy. So Scott Freitag coming up here on Leza Live. Right now, your health isn't one size fits all, and at Prescott Women's Clinic, they get it. With personalized care tailored to your needs, whether it's routine screenings, family planning, or menopause management, their expert providers are here to listen, support, and guide you because your health deserves specialized care. And at Prescott Women's Clinic, that's exactly what you get. Give them a call, 928-778-4300, or visit them online at PrescottWomen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to Leza Live on the News, 103.5 FM KYCA. Happy to welcome back to our studio Scott Freitag. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. You're all decked out in your JSO contracting wear.
I am. I have to go to a job site right after this. Actually, I'm going to have to change because, your husband knows when you're starting a new business and you're the owner, there is nothing that is beneath you. And it should always be that way.
Right.
But so I have to go move heavy rocks.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like fun, actually.
By hand.
Oh, well, that's not fun. I was picturing one of those big bucket things.
Well, we just bought one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
My business partner has been running heavy equipment for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've never run excavators, skid steers, so that's all new to me, but they're really cool. There's a stereo inside it.
Oh, fabulous.
So he was supposed to be tuning in this morning as he's working the excavator.
Right.
He can listen to us on Bluetooth. So
well, hello.
Good morning, Jason.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for listening. Well, awesome. I'm happy to have you in here. I've been, we're friends on Facebook, so I've been following everything and all the new and exciting things that you are getting involved in, and I want to get to all of those coming up. But first, I want to give you a voice and a platform to kind of talk about what went down. You were terminated. Your contract wasn't renewed, or you were terminated, right?
Yeah, the contract was terminated without cause.
Without cause. And how long ago was this?
September 23rd last year.
Last year. And how long were you with CAFMA before that?
11 years and 2 months.
Wow. Okay. So the question right off the bat is, were you surprised by this decision that came down?
Well,
did you have any notice?
not really. There was
No.
4 months leading up to it, right
Okay.
before I left for a Harvard program in June of 24.
Mm-hmm.
I'd gotten a call that something went down at a union conference where the union president for the state had gotten up on stage and said, Chief Freitag's gone rogue. We're going to run him out of the state. And their stated goal, from what I was told,
Mm-hmm.
was to ruin my reputation and livelihood.
Now, do you know why?
Well, I can speculate as to why.
Mhm.
There is a mental and behavioral health company, I'm not going to mention their name, that
Mhm.
is very closely aligned with the union. They were acting as the EAP for our healthcare pool,
EAP.
the Employee Assistance Program.
Okay.
And so there's a difference between your Employee Assistance Program and then in the state there's a Craig-Tiger Act, which is the presumptive law for mental and behavioral health for firefighters, police officers, paramedics, dispatchers, et
Okay.
cetera. And so I got a call from our trauma counseling firm that we use up here, and they said, we need to show you this stuff. And they gave me some documents, showed me some correspondence from this company that indicated that they put it in writing, right, that, hey, this EAP thing's too expensive. You need to move CAFMA personnel over to the Craig-Tiger Act, which significantly increases the cost per visit and moves the cost from the insurance side to the organization.
Mm.
And so I took all of this information. They had been reaching out to our personnel via text, telling them that they're out of EAP sessions, which wasn't true. So I took all that information. I gave it to our attorney. Our attorney said this is not right. He used an F word with it.
Mm.
And so we turned that over to the state. And so because of the close affiliation, that seems to have upset the union that I would call out this group for the things that we saw and had in writing. And so that was kind of one of the things. The other thing was there is a firefighter healthcare trust in the state, and it was started by the state union president. He was part of starting it up.
Mm-hmm.
And our local union president up here sits on an executive board with him at the state. They were pushing us to go into this trust. And I said, listen, there's a lot going on this year, not this year. We'll look at it another time, but there has to be a full RFP. You can't just go out and award something to one vendor,
Okay. Right.
and so fast forward, a lot of back and forth with things. And then in May of 24, I was notified by our vendor that there had been a breach of their system
Okay.
where 14,000 individuals worth of claims data was taken.
Mm.
The person that they have their digital fingerprints in their system happens to be the third-party agent that worked for the Firefighter Healthcare Trust.
Okay.
And so we had to take a step further back at that point and say, wait a second, there's some things that just don't seem right here with the way that our union president had been acting and the way that things have been going with the Firefighter Healthcare Trust. And now we have this major HIPAA breach. And so we took a step back. And it was just several days after we were notified of the breach that the state union president went up on stage and said that I went rogue.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't me
Mm-hmm.
that went rogue. And I'm not saying that the Firefighter Healthcare Trust breached anything.
Right.
An agent, and that agent had been the agent for our healthcare pool, as well as the Firefighter Trust. Our pool had cut ties with that company in November of 23, but forgot to revoke their credentials into the system.
Okay.
And so that's how access was made. So none of that came out in any of the rhetoric and narrative that was out there by the union
Right.
regarding me.
Right.
And the things that they were saying were simply not true. They weren't supported by any facts. They weren't supported by the evidence. But as with a lot of organizations that take that route, the facts don't matter. They just have to speak louder and louder and louder and louder. And then politically, they have to get the right political people aligned. And again, I feel more comfortable saying stuff more about the union because fast forward after they terminated my contract, I didn't know this, but the union had done a media push, especially down in Phoenix. And so about 3 months later, somebody said, you should Google your name.
Mm.
And I did, and all the headlines came up, basically, evil fire chief terminated, voices finally heard. And I'm like, well, voices were heard, but facts weren't heard.
Mm-hmm.
Facts weren't discussed.
Right.
As a matter of fact, at the September meeting, Karen Pham was there speaking on my behalf because one of the things the union said was I was against even the most basic firefighter cancer mitigation efforts, which
Right.
I think I was even on your show talking about those.
You were.
And so Karen Van got up and talked about in 2019 there was an expansion of coverage. She had shelved the bill as the Senate president because the bill was a step too far.
Okay.
And so she was sharing that I went down and talked to her and said, listen, I agree with you. This is a step too far. However, here's the evidence on this side. Can we get everybody back to the table, pull it out of the drawer, have a conversation, and come to some sort of resolution, which we did.
Okay.
And so Karen was sharing that story, and one of the union executive officials yelled out, "You're blanking lying."
To Karen.
To Karen Fan.
Yeah.
So she dressed that person down pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes to show the type of the type of things they were willing to do to try to make sure I was gone. And it's unfortunate. My contract was terminated without cause. I was cleared of any of the allegations that were leveled against me.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that supports any of it, but that's a clause in my contract. So, after that, and then finding out that, wow, this Google thing is a real problem.
Right.
I was talking to a recruiter, and he said, listen, I was pushing for you in this particular job, but they said they Googled your name. And so I contacted a reputation management company, and they're like, yeah, we can help you. It's $60,000. Yeah, that's kind of what I said. So I said, well, what? I don't like being a victim. I've never been the victim in my life. And I said, okay, well, I can't pay $60,000. I can't individually fix this. So what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was willing to hire me. I don't pay well. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing.
Right.
I'll start a consulting company, Legato Point Consulting, and the website's up. That's going. Facebook's up for that. And then my wife's friend Jason from high school came to me in January, and he's like, listen, I need someone to help me run this company that I started a little over 18 months ago with a couple guys. It's just me left. I can't run the company and run the equipment, and you don't have a job. And I was like, hey, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, right.
Appreciate it.
Right. So you landed on your feet.
So I mean,
which we all knew you would, but I want to get more into the
Sure.
the fact or the idea that they wanted to destroy your reputation. I mean, you've had service jobs for how long?
31 years.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll talk a little bit about that more when we come back after this quick break here on Leza Live. All right, are you ready to love your smile? Pro Solutions Dental Group offers a variety of cosmetic treatments to help you shine. From stunning veneers to professional whitening and more, their personalized approach ensures your smile makeover is tailored to your unique goals, giving you a confident, radiant smile you'll be proud to share. Whether it's a subtle enhancement or a dramatic transformation, Pro Solutions has you covered. Give them a call. Make an appointment today, 928-776-1208, or reach them online at PrescottDentist.com. Welcome back to Leza Live on the News, 103.5 FM KYCA, chatting with former chief of CAFMA and now owner of JSO Contracting, Scott Freitag, this morning. Thanks for coming in and sharing all this information with us. It's good to hear it from your mouth.
Absolutely.
You know?
And, it's unfortunate that the union was able to put out a media push afterwards in which the media never reached out to me and asked for my side of the story.
Never, not one person.
Not one media
I
outlet.
mean, and they reported on it big time in the Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they didn't. You notice I wasn't there.
No.
Initially, I was on it, but the follow-up, I wasn't there.
Right.
And so I didn't even know that it had occurred. I will take that back. One outlet reached out through CAFMA to try to get to me.
Uh-huh.
I was provided that individual's email. I emailed them and said, listen, I'd be happy to respond to you in writing, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Just send me your questions. Never heard back. They never reached back out to me, never responded to me. So I thought it was just gone, and I would have never thought to Google my name, because before that, if you Google my name, a lot of good stuff
Right.
came up.
Sure.
Unless it was AMR or something. But
Yeah. Right. Well, and so that had to be a shock for you.
it was.
And it doesn't really make any sense to me. It's like, if you don't want him working for you, that's one thing. But to ruin your reputation after 31 years of service
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and it didn't make any sense to me either. But they wanted to set a tone for fire chiefs in the state.
Mhm.
I've heard rumor. I can't confirm it, but I've heard from other chiefs in the state that there are individuals who have been threatened by the union that said, listen, either do what we want or this is what we're going to do. I can't confirm that's third-party information,
Right,
so I'm
right.
not saying it as a
Right.
fact for all you attorneys out there.
Right. Right. Is there any repercussion or anything that you can do on your side to fight these allegations?
There is,
Yeah.
and sort of.
Yeah.
So as a public official, there's a higher bar to set for slander and defamation.
Okay.
And so you have to prove that they knew they were lying, which my attorney and I agreed we had what we needed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is when you have a few in the local union, mainly the local union president, and you have the state union backed by the International Association of Firefighters, and they have all of their attorneys, and they're supporting that financially.
Mm-hmm.
The question becomes, how long do you want to be wrapped up in court? How much money do you have in your war chest to spend to fight this? And
Right.
the reality is I'm one individual.
Yeah.
I don't have the means, the financial means,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to fight that. And now today, if they came out like after the show and they're like, Chief Freitag did,
Mm-hmm.
well, I am now just a citizen like everybody else. I'm no longer
Right.
a public official. So the bar for slander or defamation is lower. And so then I would have an easier time if they chose to do that. But
Mhm.
ultimately, being able to tell my side is really trying to help fix my reputation.
Sure.
Because I was accused of things that I didn't do. And even when one of the first letters came out and it said, here's your articles of censure from the IAFF. And I'm like, what was I censured for?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know I was going to be censured. What
Right.
is this?
Right.
And so they sent out a press release that was just scorched earth. The union did this, and they even sent it out in the yellow sheet down at the Capitol. So people down at the Capitol were saying, wait a minute, we know this guy. We worked with this guy. This isn't right. This
Mhm.
isn't him.
Right.
And so the organization put out a press release because a lot of what they were accusing me of really falls back on the board at the time. It wasn't, I don't make the final decision. I make recommendations.
Sure.
And so they put out just basically, here's facts, right? There were no arguments. There's nothing. It's like, here's the facts.
Mhm.
And, there's some pushback from one of the board members about why was this sent out? Well, it was Chairman Matt Zurcher at the time was part of writing it along with the community relations person and other assistant chiefs. I didn't have anything to do with writing that. I answered an occasional question, but unfortunately, this wasn't go quietly into that good night.
Right.
They chose to go nuclear
Right.
and try to blow me up even after my contract was terminated. And so that has created an issue for me to gain meaningful employment. Because
Right.
while I now own these companies, as most people out there know who are starting companies, I don't actually make any money right now.
Right.
I do spend money.
Sure.
I just don't make any
Right.
money
I
right
understand.
now. So, and we're going to be successful. We're going to make this work,
Right.
and we've got a lot of support through the community. But being able to let people know that, listen, these things that were said were not true.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want me to work there,
Just let me know.
cancel the contract.
Let
and
me
be
go
done.
and leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah.
But the union didn't have to do what they did before or after.
Yeah.
They chose a path, and it's unfortunate that they did that. And hopefully, and some of the individuals that were involved truly have some things going on in their lives, and they need some help. And I hope they
Yeah.
get it one day.
I
But
hope they do too.
but for me, I'm trying to look at it today from a different perspective and say, why did this happen? And I was on a plane one morning flying to St. Louis to see my family, and I'm like, all right, I wrote down the question, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I stared at it. I stared at the paper because
Right.
in any situation, I'm like, well, maybe I could have smiled more. Maybe I should not have called out that company for what they were doing. I should not have.
But that was your
go-
job.
But it was my job, and
Yeah.
everybody here knows that
Mhm.
that's me, right?
Exactly. When this all went down, we're sitting here in the studio and we're like, there's no way. We know Scott, and we know that none of this can be true. I mean, I think that everybody that knows you knew that.
Yeah.
Or felt that. Maybe not knew it,
Right.
but felt that way. And so, wow. We need to take a quick break.
Sure.
But when we come back, let's talk about how you regained yourself and how you pulled your boots back on and got back out there and got back to work, because that's a story of fortitude and you're not going to let this get you down.
Nope.
And that's the story we want to talk about coming up. Okay.
Sounds great.
All
Thank you.
right, here on Leza Live, stay with us. All right, I've been telling you guys this number, and someday you're going to need it, and you're going to say, why didn't I write it down? Why didn't I put it in my phone? It's the number for AC Medic Heating and Air. It's 928-848-6224. Arizona weather's unpredictable, blazing hot 1 minute, freezing cold the next, and that's why you need to have that number. A trusted trusted heating and air company that can keep you comfortable all year long. They're locally owned and operated right here in Prescott. They are pros ready to handle anything, repairs, installations, tune-ups, you name it. And here's something very special. They offer 10% off all repairs for seniors, veterans, and first responders. Again, put it in your phone. AC Medic Heating and Air, your trusted first responder for comfort. 928-848-6224. And we're back. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's Leza Live on the News 103.5 FM KYCA, chatting with Scott Freitag this morning, hearing his side of all that went down with CAFMA. Curious to know, how has the department responded since you've left? Have people reached out to you? I mean, we are a small knit community, and you had a lot of employees and people that you worked alongside with. How have you been received?
You know what? I've had a number of folks that have reached out to me and checked with me, and I've had dinner with them, and we've gone out different places to listen to live music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We still chat.
Good.
So, you know, I made some good lifelong friends there, and certainly it wasn't everybody in the organization that was involved. And, you know, I hope CAFMA continues to progress. I think they're struggling a little bit right now, finding their way. And I know the union is part of the problem with that today. When you look back in labor management meetings, and I'll just make this brief point.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, they accused me of, you know, cancer mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Freitag's against it. If you look at the labor management meetings from January, labor was saying, hey, why don't we postpone this clean cab concept on the engines so that we can get our raises this year, because we want to chip away at the deficit. And they're like, you know, it's not an International Association of Firefighters driven cancer mitigation effort. It's an industry mitigation effort, but the union's not pushing it, so we could just cancel that. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
You accuse me of not doing this, and now you're specifically asking them to push this cancer mitigation recognized in the industry aside that we've been working on to try to save a little money. I never did that on cancer mitigation, and yet here's the same people accusing me of it doing it themselves.
Wow.
In writing.
Amazing. Just amazing. Well, let's shift gears a little bit,
Sure.
because for you to go through all of that and then to pick yourself up and say, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to run away from all this. I'm going to, you know, hang out, be with my friends, my community, the people that know who I am, and start some businesses. How hard was that for you?
You know, it was at first I thought we were going to have to move, and neither my wife nor I wanted to move. We have a lot of good friends in the community and good connections. I'm on the Prescott Valley Chamber Board. Marty Ewell, you know, shout out to her. She's just a wonderful lady. And so we didn't want to go, but the Google search kind of prevented me from going anywhere anyways.
Right.
And so, you know, I sought other opportunities, and I just, throughout, I felt like a sense of calm for some reason. Like, okay, I don't know why I'm going through this right now. And, but there's something on the other side, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to find it. And I saw a meme once, and it just took it to heart, and it was a cartoon guy leaning on a shovel, and it says, "A God will provide, but if you want the hole, you're going to have to actually dig." Right? He provided you the shovel.
Right.
And so I looked at it and looked at my faith, and I said, okay, God, I don't know what you have planned for me, but I'm excited about what it's going to be. And as difficult as it was to leave a 31-year career the way that it was left, you know, I had to look past that and say, what am I going to do to make the rest of my life, this next chapter, better for me and my wife? And, you know, that was kind of the focus. And there's still down days where you're like, oh, man, police officers and firefighters, we work for our career.
Right.
And one of the big things you see in the movies and other places are the retirements, right? And so I thought one day I would have that retirement.
Sure.
And it's never going to happen. But there's great things on the horizon. I just had to maintain that mindset that, nope, we're going to get through this. We're going to do good things. And that's resilience. And so on like my Legato Point Consulting site, you follow me on social media. You know, I put a lot of goofy stuff on my personal page.
Yeah.
You can probably tell on the JSO page that it's me writing it right now because there's some smart remarks about me. So the Legato Point Consulting had to be more serious business minded. So that's kind of connected to my LinkedIn. These other ones are more, no, this is Scott being silly.
Yeah.
Here it is. But people like it. It makes them smile. And if I can make somebody smile, then let's do it.
We've all been just cheering you on, really. And all your posts about your shop, what do you call it?
Close Enough Garage.
Close Enough Garage. There's a couple screws missing, but oh well. It's
Yeah.
close enough. Yeah. You can tell that you your spirits have been kept up, and you're doing your thing, and you landed on your feet, and now you're taking off with these new businesses. So let's take one more break.
Sure.
And when we come back, let's talk about those in depth and what
Okay.
you're doing. All
Great.
right.
Sounds
More with
good.
Scott
Thank you.
Freitag coming up here on Leza Live. Stay with us. And we're back. It's Leza Live on the news, 103.5 FM KYCA, chatting with Scott Freitag this morning about what he's up to now. New consulting company, contracting company, real estate license.
Yep.
I mean, break it all down for us.
So the first thing I did was start the consulting company. I have a lot of background through schooling and training through my years in the fire service, with my master's degree in Naval Postgraduate School and Harvard training. And I thought, well, let's try to do something with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a book title I've been working on. I don't have it's just a working title.
Okay.
It's How to Strive for Mediocrity and Almost Achieve It, a book just shy of leadership.
Love it.
Kind of a play on word on what's success, and that's the individual.
Yeah.
Right. And so I felt like, hey, I have a lot to offer people, whether they're private companies or public entities. I have a lot to offer, and so all of the quotes that you see on that Legato Point Consulting or on LinkedIn, those are all things that I just made up in my head.
Nice.
But that's what you can expect if you have me come in to work with your company. Or I think my story one day will make a good keynote, because it's not about being a victim. It's, hey, these things happened,
Right.
but you can't let that define you.
Right.
How do we move beyond that? And so kind of working with Guy with Talking Glass Media here and there on possibly putting together a leadership podcast. And then on the contracting side, I never would have thought of that. But then, Jason came over and he's like, hey, here's my ideas on this. Right now we're KA dual engineered for civil. So your pad work, your underground work, your septic, electric lines, sewer, everything. We do all of that. And then demo, commercial, residential. We can take it all down for you, or we can do one room.
Right.
And so it's a good model. And Jason's like, I'd like to expand and get into general contracting. So I've started my program for that. And I said, we could save money if my wife and I were real estate agents and we just bought and sold the properties for the company.
Right.
And so we just took our state licensing test on Monday and both passed.
Nice.
So,
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks.
That's great.
Don't know what I'm going to do, but we're going to figure it out,
Yeah,
right? I'm
right.
just confident whatever it is, we're going to figure it out. If you would have asked me last September, would I ever go out and buy a Cat 20,000-pound excavator? The answer would have been, what am I going to do with that?
Why? Yeah.
And now I have one.
Yeah.
Or we have one, and
Right.
Jason's running it right now. But and we're making good contacts with folks. We're bringing some business in local. We just switched all of our company insurance to Bill Weber here in town with NFP. Bill's been a longtime friend and a great resource. So we just switched to him. Stephen Crandall on the accounting side. We're looking to use him. Get to work with the great folks at Haley Construction and over at Fane with Anessa and Elan Electric. We're working with them. And so there's so many different people that we get to encounter. And I told Jason, I said, listen, if we're going to do this, we have to be involved in the community. And it starts with 100 Men Who Care.
Right.
And so I took him to the last event. We're already scheduled and lining up other contractors and subcontractors to come with us in May.
Wonderful.
So shout out to 100 Men Who Care, and still involved as a board member with the Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce. So it's, I feel like at some point I'll make some money. I'm not trying to get rich, just want to,
Right.
like make
Just
my house
survive.
payment. And, but I think we're doing good work. And I have to tell you, my wife sent me a text one day. We were demoing a manufactured home, and I was out in the field with a torch cutting the frame apart, and I was just singing in my head, having
Yeah.
the greatest day
I
ever.
bet. How fun.
And she's like, how's your day? I'm like, you know what? There's nobody whining at me.
Right.
There's no political angle.
Right.
I'm just cutting a frame with a torch.
Right.
This is the best day ever. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I get to work with Sandy Griffiths in a different capacity now.
Right.
No longer on the code enforcement side. I'm on the contracting side,
Right.
Sandy.
Yeah.
So, it's just, we're able to do some really good things and reconnect with folks in the community, a longtime friends. Not even reconnect, but connect in a different way
Sure.
with people.
Yeah.
And so really exciting to be able to do this now. And I think some of my friends have looked at me and said, you're healthier
Yes.
today.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And which is really interesting because I didn't realize that I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it appears apparently stress, just over the years, cumulative stress was
Sure.
getting to me. And so maybe what God was saying is, listen, you're killing yourself and you don't even recognize it. And the only way that I'm going to get you out of that seat is to dynamite you out of there.
Right.
And the only way I'm going to get you to go in a direction where you're making your own way is to prevent you from being able to do anything else.
Right.
And so I just look at it as, okay, challenge accepted. Let's move on to the next thing and we'll
Right.
figure it out.
Well, I think that is such great advice. You are a testament for people who experience these kind of life-changing decisions that you had nothing to do with.
Right.
It's like you can either be sour and sad and salty about it, or you can figure out a way to make the best of it and move forward. And I mean, you're a young man and you got a lot to do, and you're feeling productive, and
Yeah.
you're making things happen for yourself. And we're all very proud of you,
Thank
and we're
you.
happy for you as well.
Yeah.
If people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that for any of your entities?
For any of it, you can go to or you can email me at sfreitag@jsocontracting.com.
Okay.
Or sfreitag@legatopointconsulting.com.
Okay.
And for the construction side, you can call me at 928-642-2429. I rely heavily on my business partner, Jason, because his 30 years of experience in this world, specifically
Right.
in what we're doing today. And so you may get, I'd be happy to come out and look at it. Let me call Jason, find out when we can be there.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm going to learn. I'm excited about it. I had a great run in emergency services. I got to serve some great communities. And over the 31 years, 30 years and 10 months of it was fantastic. So
What more can you say?
you know what?
Yep.
And you see the CAFMA ambulances running around.
Yep.
So
Well, I have appreciated this time with you.
thank you.
Thank you. Come back soon.
Absolutely.
And best of luck on all your new adventures.
Thank you.
You're
I look
welcome,
forward to it. I
Scott.
appreciate it.
Take care.